Hi everybody, welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. I'm Lorraine Tierney. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire, and you can find me online at Chat and Craft with Lorraine. I have a blog with that name, a Facebook page, I'm on Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. So you can catch all kinds of things in different places. Not all the same stuff, but a whole bunch of stuff. Today we're going to make what I call a peekaboo card, but I want to talk for a minute about the Fresh as a Daisy Suite and Fresh as a Daisy Stamp Camp that I'm going to be hosting along with the Creativity Abounds design team that I'm a member of. This Fresh as a Daisy Suite is in the new annual catalog, the one that starts on May 2nd. It's on page 110. I can't show you that in the catalog just yet, but I can show you some cards that I've made with it and tell you a little bit about the Stamp Camp. The way you register for Stamp Camp is to buy the suite from me or another member of the Creativity Abounds design team. So if you're watching in Canada or Australia or in the UK, I can put you in contact with somebody that you can purchase the whole suite from. And that's all you have to do to be part of the Stamp Camp. The Stamp Camp will be July 7th and 8th on Facebook. Everything will be recorded so you can watch it whenever it's convenient for you if you can't make it live. You'll get 13 make and takes, one designed by each member of the design team, that will come with written instructions and video instructions that you can make at your own leisure. And then on the weekend of Stamp Camp, we'll present 13 additional projects that you can make with the suite. It's a lot of fun. We've had really good feedback from everybody that's done it. I think we've done, I've lost track, 7, 8, 9 of these Stamp Camps. I think you would be really happy if you did it. So I'm just going to show you a few cards and then we will get going. I'd love it if you'd let me know if you're watching live. Thank you for being here. Or if you're catching the replay, thank you for doing that. Say hi so I can say hi to you as well. Okay, so this is the card I made and included with catalogs that I sent out to everybody. And this uses the Fresh as a Daisy DSP, some stamps, and then some bling. I don't think this is the bling that's in the suite. And then I did 4 cards in the stack and shuffle method. These are posted on my Facebook page today, and I have a blog post about how to do the stack and shuffle method. I have a Valentine one, a Christmas one. I really like it. And you can see this suite comes with stamps for the daisies. I use stamps here, as well as dies. These are all dies on these cards. And the DSP is gorgeous. And then here is the card in the style that we're going to make today. And this is also using the Fresh as a Daisy suite. So I'm calling this a peekaboo card because you get a peek at the inside with this card, and because I didn't know what else to call it. So I'm calling it a peekaboo card. All right. Things. Just checking to make sure I'm in the right place. Thank you, Ruthie. I'm glad you think it's adorable. So let me show you how we're going to make this card today. I'm going to do it today with papers from the Regency Park Designer Series pack. And this pack is blues and greens and some petal pink. It's really pretty paper. This paper is going away on after May 1st. So if you like that paper, you have to get it now. Generally, I cut my card base by cutting my piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock in half in the landscape portion, and then I score it at 4 1/4 and fold it, and this is my card base. That's what I've done on all of these. For this card base, we're going to do it the other way. We are going to still cut the piece of cardstock in half, but we're going to cut it in half at 4 1/4. So it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to score it in half at 5 1/2. So you always score in half, you always cut in half. Let me give that a good crease. So here is a card base. And this one opens up this way, although if you're doing a landscape card, this is a great way to do your base because it stands up better than this. Sometimes whoop, falls down. So now we're going to take the front of this card base. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut it off at 1 1/2. And hang on to this piece. We're still going to use it. And 2 1/2. And we're also going to use that piece. Okay, so basically, let me just get this to lay flat. Basically, what we are going to do is put this back together. I like to use the corner of my trimmer. It keeps everything square. Just make sure your arm is tucked all the way in. That piece is going to go there, and this piece is going to hold everything together. But first, we need to decorate these pieces. And I will put all these measurements either on a blog post or in the description. I'm going to try to get a blog post done today, so we'll see how that goes. But basically, I've then cut a mat that's 1/8 of an inch smaller in both dimensions for those two pieces and for this little piece at the top. Okay, and then on top of that will go a piece of designer series paper that's also 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I used a paper, you can see that some of the paper is going horizontally and some is going vertically. If it had a real strong pattern in one direction, I wouldn't be able to do that, but I used a paper that would work okay with. So I'm going to put my designer series paper on the shaded spruce cardstock. Shaded spruce is not a color I use a lot of, but I really like it. And then I'm going to put this on the white. And I'm just trying to get a nice even border all the way around. And we'll do the same thing with this piece. I try to get a nice thin bead of that liquid glue because if it oozes out, it leaves the paper a little bit shiny. You can use one of those adhesive remover erasers to try to get it off. And then this one on to here. Okay, and we have one more time to do that. So it's really a pretty easy card to put together once you just know the measurements on how to cut it. I'm going to use the Sending Smiles stamp set to decorate this. The Regency Park stamp set's been on my wish list, but I just haven't picked it up yet. So I'll use Sending Smiles. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to tuck this back into the corner of my trimmer, and this is the arm that pops out. Just make sure it's in really tight so you're nice and square. The smaller piece is going to tuck right there in the bottom, and then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this one, and I like to move it to one side. And if you have a sentiment that you want to have be both on the inside and the outside, you can make sure that you have room for it. I just grabbed Happy Mother's Day. I don't think this is going to fit, even if I moved this way over. Yeah, it's too big, but you would want to make sure your sentiment fits if you want it to peek through. I'm not going to do it that way today. And I'm going to put just a bit of tear and tape on this to hold it a little bit stronger than maybe the liquid glue would, because if this piece comes off, it's kind of affecting your whole card. I'm just going to put one strip on and pull up that release paper. Whoops, I'm having trouble. There we go with that one. Okay, and then I'm going to try to get it even, left, this way, and even up and down. So we'll hope that's pretty good. And that opens just like that, and it's nice and square on the bottom. So now we have to do a little bit of decorating on this. We're going to do a little bit of stamping and die cut out a flower, and I haven't decided whether I want the flower to then lay on a navy oval with the note of thanks, or if I want it to be on a white oval with the note of thanks. So you be thinking about that and letting me know what you think. That note of thanks is from the Sending Smiles stamp set, and it comes with a great die for cutting those words out. And we're going to use a small flower today. I think I'm going to use that one. Wait, is that the one? No, this is the one I want, on the small flower on the small stem, because we don't have too much room. So I have a couple of scraps of white. Now I have another one here. Okay. And we are going to stamp these. I'm going to do the stem and the leaves with shaded spruce. I use the spots here at my daughter's house because they take up less room. And you have to go on a few times to make sure you get good coverage with them. I'm just going to put that right there. There we go. And I'm going to use crushed curry for the flower. There's actually Mango Melody in this paper, but I've already pulled my Mango Melody since it's retiring and sent it back to Warner. So I'm going to use crushed curry, which is pretty close. Okay, and now we will die cut those. We're going to use that and this one. Sometimes it's tricky to figure out which way. There we go. This one goes. Whoops. And I'm going to use a bit of, I thought I brought it over here. Yep, Post-it note tape to hold those dies in place. The die that I just moved already in place. Okay. You just need a tiny little piece, and you can actually use these pieces over and over again. All right. And I'm going to bring my little mini Stamp and Emboss machine. And this is the boho blue one that was a demonstrator perk, but it's going to be available to everybody pretty soon. So if you like blue, I highly recommend this mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. I'm going to cut these out one at a time. I know I'm shaking the camera a little bit. I'm sorry. Okay, there's my stem. Put that back. And now we'll do the little flower. You can stagger your plates a little bit going through this mini. It's a tiny little roller, and that sometimes helps it to grab better. Oops. And I dropped it. Okay, and there's my flower. All right, so let's see which one I like this on better. That I happen to have these note of thanks done already from a different project, and that one had a bit of a spot on it, so I'm going to change it to this one. Okay, so it could go on navy, like that, roughly, or it could go on white. What do you think? Navy or white? I'm not sure. When in doubt, I do it again. I like it on the white. I think it looks good. Let's see, how does it look on the navy? I think it pops a little bit more on the navy. My sister says white. Hi, Jan. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. White is a clean and simple kind of look. These ovals are from the framed florets dies, and I think those are gone already on the last chance, and I'm sad that the ovals are gone. I liked having ovals. But I had cut out a lot of these ahead of time, and so I'm still using them. I've got to run and get a dimensional. I want to pop my flower up. Oh, blue with the white on it. Yep, that would work too, Jan. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to put that there. And the note of thanks right like that. or maybe straight across. I don't think I want something else sticking out over the edges, so I'm gonna make that just go like that. And I'm not going to pop this up again. I think one set of dimensionals is enough for mailing. Okay, and then we'll just add a little bit of bling. And I apologize, I don't know whether this bling is still available or not. The bling comes in and out so fast, I can't use them necessarily as fast as they come in and out, so I'm just using it anyway. And I don't, oh, I like the green and I like the blue. These are fine sparkle adhesive backed gems, and I think I'm going to do the green. I bet it's a soft succulent color. Let's see, where should I'll put one there, and I think I'll put another little one over here. Maybe centered a little better. There we go. A note of thanks. And then inside, you're just going to want to be careful and maybe sign your name and write your message right down the middle or down here. I could put another sentiment right up at the top if I wanted, but you don't want to have half a sentiment sticking out on either side there. So here it is in the Regency Park with the Sending Smiles stamp set. And here it is with the Fresh as a Daisy. And on this one, I just did the white. I didn't do a patterned paper there. Which one do you like better? I'm interested in knowing if you like the Daisy or the Regency Park, the blue and navy one, better. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that you took time to see it, and I hope you'll make this card. It's really easy and really fun to decorate, and I think anyone who receives it will enjoy it. I love to help people make cards. I have a free Zoom class every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The details are on my blog every week, on my Facebook page every week. I'd love to have you join. And if there's anything I can do to help you make cards at home, I'd love to do that. I'd love to have you shop with me at shop.chatandcraftwithlorraine.com. Whew, easy for me to say, right? Anyway, I hope the rest of your Sunday is great, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.